Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Brandon Mason Show. We got a lot to talk about today. It is freaking Tuesday. It is July 30th. I got to tell you, if you're watching the calendar at all, it's blowing by. Everybody's like, man, it's already July, already summer. Kids are going back to school. Pretty exciting time for a lot of parents. Get the kids out of the house, get a chance to get their house back, right? But it's been a pretty quick summer, quick breeze. Obviously want more to our families in time, but we're back in action. We're heading right into the NFL season, and I cannot wait. We got coming up our Hall of Fame game also as well. We got two teams ready to go. They kept changing the dates, but we're good. It says August 1st, and we got the Bears. Let me see here. We got the Bears and we got the Texans. Make sure I got that right. We're going to be live on this platform for the first preseason game. It's a Hall of Fame game. All the preseason games at night will be live on this platform, live play-by-plays. A lot of sponsors coming on, having a good time. Welcome back to the show. So today we got a lot going on. The Cleveland Browns, we're talking about Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Nick Chubb. We're going into the receiving core impact players, what they got going on for the season coming up, because as you know, the Browns battled back, had a lot going on with Deshaun Watson. Then you got Joe Flacco stepped in and made some plays, and people were like, whoa, Joe's back in action like his Raven days. But hey, not for nothing, let's dive into that and let's talk about it right freaking now. Cleveland Browns, what do they got going on? The needs for the 2024 NFL season. Look, they got some impact players that are going there too. Deshaun Watson, can he step up? Can he step up to the plate? We saw a quick little action game when he played against the Ravens and he balled out and we said, whoa, he's pretty good, right? When he was out there playing before he got traded to the Browns. People were pretty excited about him. But the Cleveland Browns said, look, we're going to offer this guy a lot of money. We're going to get to that contract in a second. Can the Cleveland Browns ball out this year? In the chat right now, I dropped it in there for people to have some conversation. Will Deshaun Watson bounce back? Can he get rid of those allegations? Can he forget about it? Can he move forward? Can he be the guy? Is he worth $230 million? Everybody right now said no way. 100% of people said no way that have picked it already. And let me tell you something. Today on our live stream, you will be able to ask questions at a Q&A part of the show. I will be able to click on your questions. And when you have a question in the live stream, just put a hashtag before you write, and I can click on it and pull it up on the screen. We'll get to that as well. But the Cleveland Browns needs for this season, the commander-in-chief, as you know, a lot of teams, we got Deshaun Watson's got to show up. He's got a lot of targets out there. Two great receivers have come or gone to that too. Defensive players, Nick Chubb in the backfield. But can Deshaun Watson do what he was supposed to do? Right, Deshaun Watson came in, they traded him. He figured out a way to get paid a lot of money. And let me tell you something. We're going to go into that right now. We're going to the needs as we discuss $230 million guaranteed. Why this is a conversation we got to have right now, because the Browns are pumped this season for Deshaun Watson. They're pumped for the Cleveland Browns, and they got a good roster. I got to tell you, when I go into who they got on their team and the people that are surrounding Deshaun Watson, he's got a lot of targets. We're going to talk about that right now, but the question is, can Deshaun Watson live up to $230 million, right? They had an opportunity. They gave him the money. A lot of people would have said, I don't know about this guaranteed money situation. I got to tell you, this was kind of the pivot and the starting point. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the live stream right now. This was the starting point of these NFL teams and franchise literally opening up their wallet in a whole different era. Like, people were getting paid big money. The people that have proven themselves for a long time, getting those extensions. When they made this happen and said, Deshaun Watson, $230 million to the Browns, a lot of other quarterbacks were like, hello, look at me. I play for your team. Deshaun Watson got that. What am I doing? This opened up the checkbook, I believe, to a lot of organizations. So all these quarterbacks getting paid all this money, a lot of them could thank the Cleveland Browns. Thank Deshaun Watson, because this was the pivot and turning point to some of these players getting paid big-time dollars. And the question still remains, can Deshaun Watson bounce back after all the allegations? We had some things going on, obviously, and people talking about him. You see a lot of him right now on the sidelines like this. Wasn't playing all last season. Joe Flacco stepped up and took majority of the load and all the snaps and got them to a pretty good point. I mean, honestly, in Joe Flacco's career right now, I was like, okay, pleasantly surprised what Joe did. But reality is right now, can Deshaun Watson live up to this money, and will he be able to battle back after all those allegations against all these women, all these things, off the field issues and concerns? And I'm just saying, whoever he knew, his agent and people he worked with or friends, relationships, and, with the Browns organization, for them to open up that checkbook and him to make this happen was like, he must have found a way or a tool somehow to prove that he's getting offered something substantial somewhere. Like, it's like, to be able to step into the plate and be like, hey, I'm Deshaun Watson, I can ball out for you. Not to mention, he balled out in college. I got pictures of him balling out and some images here with Clemson. He was a beast. I know that. I agree. He was coming into the National Football League. We're like, got high hopes for Deshaun Watson. So I'm not knocking him at all. But the ability to get to the point where the Cleveland Browns open up their checkbook for $230 million. The question in the chat right now was, is he worth that money? Yes or no? Drop it in there. Put an N in the chat. Put a Y in the chat. And good morning to all you guys that are coming into the live stream this morning. He changed a pivot point in conversation, I think, about what's going on. And a lot of people would say, who's on his team? Who will he bring when he goes to the impact players right now? But the reality is the Cleveland Browns are going to go as far as Deshaun Watson takes them. And I got a chance to watch him play, scramble, making plays with his legs, obviously doing what he's got to do. But on here, Deshaun Watson faced countless allegations. So can he close his mind? Can the Cleveland Browns put that behind them? Obviously, Deshaun Watson wants to, getting paid all that money. He's got a lot of opportunities to start doing other things outside of thinking about that. But if he puts this behind him and moves forward, this guy's got a lot of talent, right? Like how they will gel around him. We've seen him play for a game. He made some plays. We've seen him run against the Ravens, run for 50, 60 yards for a touchdown, showing the speed, the ability to make plays with his legs, being dynamic, a dual threat quarterback. So it's like these allegations were obviously smacked in the face. So you got to remember, a lot of these guys, and you forget about this, they show up in the National Football League, and these are young, talented players. They don't show up in the National Football League at 30 years old or 35 years old or whatever the case may be. They show up, and when they're there, they're young. These guys come into the league 22, 23, 24, and they get smacked with all this shit, and people are like looking at them like, come on, you got to be able to do this and do that. And people are like, the pressure for a 23, 24, 25-year-old, I want to say kid, this is reality. Like, you have your family, you got your agent, you got managers, you got friends, right, telling you, hey, do this, do that. The reality is you have to put this on your back and kind of move forward. And, it kind of hits you in the face at first. And you got to be able to fight all this adversity, even though he probably brought a lot of this on himself. And again, everyone that's coming in, good morning to you. We're getting ready to do where you can ask a question. When you put a hashtag, I can click on it and pop it up on the screen, and you guys have questions. Or you want to say something, I'm going to put up in here and put time for the Q&A. I'm going to do that here today for the first time, where your questions pop up on the screen and people can talk and relate to what you're saying. That's going to be important right now here in a second. Cleveland Browns impact players. Who do they got on the team this year? Who do the Cleveland Browns have on their lineup to ball out this year? Look, a lot of people, I got to tell you, are in favor of the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people last season became Browns fans. Wait until you see the fan base I have on here to pull up with the pictures of what they look like and what they do. They are born to be Cleveland Browns fans. But look, here's what I'm talking about. Nick Chubb in the backfield. This is who Deshaun Watson can really rely on. Obviously, with an injury last season was detrimental to the Cleveland Browns. Losing, Nick Chubb in the backfield, who they really, really want. I understand, big-time player, big-time baller. This is the guy that can carry the workload, the guy that can break tackles. He's built like a running back. The guy, listen, in college football, you're watching these teams, watching Georgia, watching these running backs come out. You're like, okay, multiple players coming out the running back position. Built just like a running back. I got other pictures in here, too, that I want to pull up of Nick Chubb with these impact players. And here's another picture here that I want to show you. It just looks like a running back, looks like a tank, a guy that's going to get out there and carry the workload for the Cleveland Browns. And literally on his back, this image here that I pulled up from Clutch Points here is like, okay, I love what these people behind them, what it's symbolizing, what they try to create. But what I like about it is it looks like carrying on my back. That's what I get from this picture. Carrying the Browns, carrying the fans, carrying the organization on my back is what I get right there from Nick Chubb at one of the major, major impact players coming in this season. And listen, they got some excellent talent at the wide receiver position. They got Amari Cooper. And listen, I looked at this and I said, let's look at the depth chart. I got the depth chart to pull up right here as well. I said, let's look at the depth chart and see who they brought in, right? They got I like their receiver core, and this is why. Even Deshaun Watson's like, we got Jerry Jeudy too. Like, we got Jerry Jeudy coming to our, organization, and they worked on getting that trade. We saw the Browns trade where they went out and got Jeudy, right? Amari Cooper, and then you got Jerry Jeudy together, right? Look at this right here. These two weapons at the receiver position, you're like, okay, they got Nick Chubb, great. They got Deshaun Watson at a quarterback position. Then you got these two receivers back there as well. And you're like, okay, listen, they got some talent in the offense, right? And you keep going, and you look at who else they got, right? And you go to the defense side of the ball, and you go, do not forget, they got Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive players in the National Football League, on their team as well. And people are like, dude, this roster really keeps going on and on and on. And their offense is pretty stacked. If Deshaun Watson can ball out, if Deshaun Watson can play football this year like he knows how to play, the Cleveland Browns have an excellent roster. I mean, they really do. A lot of people that the Browns fans for years, which we're going to go into a second, what those fans wanted, they're like, hey, we need to win football games. Let's get into it right now. Look at these fans. These are some die-hard fans showing up. You got to be overly in love with your Browns to show up year in and year out going through the shit that they went through. Here's another fan here. Take a look at these people. Like, take a look at how they operate, right? They show up, and they're not even winning football games all those years. Now they're bouncing back, and check this picture out here. We would kill for a win. Like, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, when you have a fan base like this, and you bring a roster what they're trying to bring in, it is very hard to stop a team like this. Why? Because they got a lot of firepower, the star power in the offense, all those targets and weapons that Deshaun Watson's going to have, not to mention he can be a dynamic weapon, a dual threat quarterback. And then you have the fan base like that right there coming out through the locker room onto the field. I got a picture of the stadium as well coming out there. The Cleveland Browns this year have a lot to brag about if they start winning football games. They can currently brag about the roster, and I just went through some of that, and here's the stadium coming through, playing out in Cleveland. They did not win games for a very long time. I remember growing up and just watching football, and it was like the Browns, they're just terrible. Even the Bengals, they're just terrible for a long time, sharing the same colors. And the stadium here, they still would they would bring so many people. And again, this picture symbolizes everything. We would kill for a win, right? And they got some impact players this season. They got a lot of talent. I got a lot more pictures of what they can bring to the table. But the major component, right, that I would say, I'll be completely honest, is how Nick Chubb can carry the load at the running back position. Can he do what he needs to do to break tackles, to get to the line, to be that guy? When you come through as a running back, I can tell you right now, you keep lowering your shoulder, you keep hurting on those linebackers, especially in the first quarter, second quarter. Come second half, you lower your shoulder, you're breaking tackles, you're into the secondary. And I'm just saying, this guy is built for that position. I'm 6'2", 6'3", running the ball. Everybody can see me like I've been saying before. You can see me when we do the play-by-plays. I can go over a lot of this stuff that's happening. But Nick Chubb is built and designed to run the football through the hole, literally through the middle of the offensive line. He's fast enough to get outside the box. I mean, this guy can make plays. And all I'm telling you right now is I think the people, whether they get to the Super Bowl, whether they get past the playoffs, whatever they do, this is a team that people should definitely look out for, especially heading in closer toward the postseason. So will the Browns win the AFC North? That's a question right now in the live stream chat. Here's the teams right now that they're going to go against, obviously, in their division. They got the Ravens, they got the Steelers, they got the Bengals, and then you got the Cleveland Browns. And let me tell you something. A lot of people were knocking some of these teams. This division could turn out to be a lot tougher than people think. And when you look at these teams, Baltimore Ravens, going to be a tough football team regardless. Cleveland Browns, tough football team regardless, right? And then you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are they going to show up with Justin Fields? Are they going to show up Russell Wilson? Are they going to get it done? And then you got the Bengals. And, we can't forget teams like, Joe Burrow. All these players are going to step up and get it done. The Cleveland Browns have an awesome opportunity this season. Will they get to the playoffs? We will see about that and how great they will play. Everything rides on the coattails, I'm just saying, of purely Deshaun Watson and what he brings to the table. Can he forget about the past? Can he get to the playoffs? Can he bring his team? Can he rally the troops to follow behind him to get to the playoffs and win the big games? Because he needs the morale, because last year it was all realistically focused on Joe Flacco. Right, that was the quarterback. That's who they had. It was Joe Flacco coming to the table. He was the guy that they really had to follow behind. He was the leader. Deshaun Watson had suspensions, then he had injuries, a lot going on. Now you have Deshaun Watson that is getting ready to step up to the forefront of that team. And the question is, will the Browns win the AFC North? They got one hell of a chance. And I'm just saying, this is what you saw for a long time, was Deshaun Watson walking around with this little penny on, no pads, wasn't doing anything, wasn't really out there in active gameplay. But at the end of the day, this is a chance this season for the Browns to put up and get something done. And people are, I've been talking to them. Nick Chubb, obviously the running back. Nick Chubb had a crazy injury. Now he's bounced back and he's squatting more weight than ever. People are like, this guy had a terrible leg injury or lower leg injury, and then all of a sudden it's like, or lower body, sorry. And all of a sudden he's back in the weight room, squatting more weight than most people ever squatted in their life. Like, this guy's back. He's back. He's an animal, and it's well deserved. This guy plays the game right. He's a great person. He's an inspiration to a lot of people. And he's really the backfield. He's going to be the trigger point, I think, of the Browns organization and him running the ball. It's well-deserved, well-earned. All the accolades he's going to get is coming to him is well freaking earned and well-deserved. And like I said, all these players that they got at the impact player positions, all that, they got a lot of talent. But moving forward, are the Browns a Super Bowl team in 2024? And it's not, are they going to win a Super Bowl? It's, are they a Super Bowl team? When you look at the roster, when you put it on paper and you look at who they have so much talent. And that's why when I put this on here, will Deshaun Watson live up to $230 million? Maybe, maybe not. But when you look at the roster on paper, I'm not saying will they get there or not. I'm just saying, are they a Super Bowl quality and talented football team? When you look at the roster, look at every position: the quarterback Deshaun Watson, running back Nick Chubb, receivers Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy, and then you keep looking at the line, you go to the defense, and you look at people like Myles Garrett, you start looking around going, we got a lot of talent on this team. We might be able to do something this year. And I think last year, without Deshaun Watson pay all that money, without him being able to play, the Browns were like, we're missing our team here. We're missing our link. Joe stepped in and played well. Flacco balled out. But they were missing their star quarterback who they wanted. But $230 million, this is all I'm saying. You get paid this big-time money, the pressure comes in. You're feeling good when you go home at night. You got this big-ass house. You got all these cars. You got money in the bank. You never got to work again. Feels good. But when you show up in the stadium, it's kind of put up or shut up time, and the pressure kind of builds up. It builds up on the ownership, builds up on the coaching staff. It just builds up because people are like, hey, this is our quarterback. We have invested in you. It didn't matter what happened. $230 million, you're playing regardless. You can go out and do whatever you got to do. You are playing regardless because we have invested in you as our quarterback. And I'm just saying, when I look at what Deshaun Watson can bring to the table and what the rest of his teammates bring to the table, they got a dynamic group. And I say, when I compare people apples to apples and look at other teams, look at Dak Prescott, look at CeeDee Lamb, look at their receiver position, then you go to the Chiefs, obviously the GOAT at Patrick Mahomes, you look at the receiver positions, you go, okay, when you start comparing this, looking at defensive players and look at the backfield, the Cleveland Browns have a team that can get somewhere. That's all I'm saying. And right now, good morning to everybody in the live stream. Annie, Keitho, everyone that's in here, Tracy, Brittany, thank you for coming in here, Kentrell, Roger, everyone that's in here right now. Let me scroll up and see. Jeff Lee, Brian. If you have a question about today's live stream, a question about the NFL season, a question, right now we're gonna try this out and see how this works out for our first day with live questions and answers, Q&A. Right now in the live stream, let's just see. If you have a question about the Browns or a question or something you want to say in the live stream right now, you can put a question or whatever you got to say and just put hashtag in front of it, and I can see it pop up on the screen, and we can bring it on here just for good measure to make sure it's working. If you got something to say, Brian, if you got something to say about the Cleveland Browns or a question, a Q&A about the Cleveland Browns or about this year's teams coming up or about our live stream, you can ask it right now, even about our live play-by-plays coming up for this NFL season. You can ask it right now, and I will pull it up on the screen. All you got to do it, you have to put a hashtag in front of your message. If you put a hashtag in front of your message, I can see it pop up on the screen, and I can click on it, and I can bring it up here for people to see. This is the time to do that if you have a question. And it can dictate to anything. It could be about our live stream. It could be about the show that's going on. It could be about the Cleveland Browns. It could be about something that you want to talk about what we're doing for the play-by-plays for the NFL season, our guests that are looking to come on the show. Anything you would like to do, all you got to do is put a hashtag and pop it in here right now, and I'm going to see if this feature is working possibly. Let me see right now. Okay, I see some stuff coming in. If you have a question, drop it in there right now. We're going to see if this works out. I just pulled some stuff up here. I got to tell you, the Cleveland Browns got an opportunity. And so far, here we go. We got some stuff popping in right now. Let me see if I can get this on the screen. Jeff, let me see if we can pull your message up here for the first time. Rocking and rolling. How are we looking? Let's see if it's in the queue here. Here we go. Bang. How are we looking at it? Jeff Lee. What are you saying, Jeff? You're saying Dallas will be at the Browns, or you're saying they will beat the Browns? Let me just send this over here just to see for good measure. It pops in here. Here we go. We got it popping up. Dallas will be at the Browns. I know you put will beat the Browns. I see that there. Let me just show you something, what we got going here. Bang, here we go. Any question you guys got? Let's go here. Brian, what we got saying over here? Let's send this to the queue. Let's read your question here. You know, my eyesight is freaking amazing, right? Let's pull it up here right now. So Brian says, Cleveland is as good as anyone, but playoff experience is dear. Okay, I see here. They won't win a Super Bowl. Get there, maybe, Brian said. Look, they got a team they can get there. How possible, how good they will be. I agree. Like, they got everything they can do. They got a lot of talent, Brian. They got people that they can bring to the playoffs. They got people they can bring to the Super Bowl. How much depth they have is a question. We got to obviously look at that, how the season plays out. Preseason is going to show us a lot. The speed, the route running, the timing of Deshaun Watson and his new players obviously is also important. Let's pull some stuff up right here. Let me see what else people got to say here. Let's send some stuff over to the queue here in a second as we continue our Q&A. This is how we do it now. We got things live stream coming in here. We're going to make this look a lot better, but now we can communicate with you guys live on here. Is Watson's money guaranteed no matter what? Yeah, he's guaranteed a shit ton of money. He is guaranteed $230 million. Legit, like the only concern really is, Rodgers, look, if he gets in trouble with the law or something like that, they got some kind of clawback deals, I'm sure, which obviously last year you saw some things happening. But it's like, look, this guy got $230 million and people are like, wow, he's our quarterback. Why did we even give him that amount of money is the question. Like, I'm not saying that he isn't a great player. I'm not saying that he isn't good. The question still remains, realistically, how do you offer $230 million, though? It was like out of the blue, just came out of nowhere. It was like he knew somebody that other people either didn't know or he had a great connection, but his money is guaranteed unless I believe he gets in some sort of crazy trouble. So is this the extra money that Deshaun Watson is actually making? Yes, $230 million. Like, he's getting paid right now. This guy is getting paid big time money, regardless of the situation. And I'm just saying, I like the fact that he's making money. I mean, I got pictures of Deshaun Watson here we can pull up that I actually was like Deshaun Watson back in Clemson. I got the pictures right here. But I mean, to get paid that kind of money without really balling out was like, all right. And they're just paying for his pure talent, right? Paying for his pure talent. So if anybody else has any questions for today, drop it in right now. Drop any questions about our live stream. Drop any questions about our live play-by-plays. You see the functionality now that we can pull up live questions for people in the audience watching the live show. This is part of our setup, which I absolutely love. You could drop it in there any given time, and we could bring it up, and we can get it rocking and rolling in regards to our live stream. So just so you guys know, we got the Hall of Fame game coming up, too. We got the Hall of Fame game coming up, which we're going to be doing here live. It says August 1st. I believe it's 8 p.m. Look at your emails. Remember to look at your emails so you can see what's actually going on. You can see what live game we're doing. Every day, the night before, I send an email out. If you're not in there, BrandonMasonShow.com. Drop your freaking email into the newsletter so you get updated every single time that we have our live stream. You know who we're talking about. If there's a special guest coming on, you're going to get notified the guest that's coming on. And then also, we'll be live now on all social media platforms across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'll be live everywhere here heading into this week. So that's what I'm looking forward to do. Let me see what else we got on here. Let me pull up any other questions that we actually have. Let me send them to the queue right now and make sure that we have them. Okay, how we got it? Will you do any of the Olympics? This was a question this morning, even my wife brought up. Yes, we're going to do some of the Olympics. I don't know. I know you're probably talking about the live stream. Brian, you're probably saying, hey, this is a message from Brian, by the way. Will you do any Olympics? Yes, I would like to do Olympics live. I would love to watch the 4x4, watch the 4x1 live stream if they allow us to do that here on YouTube, which I think they will. I might even be able to show some of the programming live, so we'll see how that goes. I would like to do that. And then also, we're going to dive into, even into next week as well, and into this week, some of the issues or concerns about the Olympics, like not just the Olympics in, the live, meet or the race or the type of events. We were going to talk about the Olympics in general of what's going on. Actually, Brittany brought that to attention. She said, are you going to talk about that? And yes, we are. It's going to be an important conversation, letting some of that kind of trigger through. And we're going to bring up some interesting points and facts about what was shown, what was being heard, what was said, the way that they showed the whole situation with the Olympics. These are things we need. Any other questions? Drop them in there right now. Anybody else wants a question about our live stream, about our play-by-plays, about the shows that we're doing, about anything that we're going to be doing, drop it in there right now before we end our show for today. Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns. Before we end that today, I greatly appreciate you guys. And everybody, throw the dice in the chat. You see the functionality. All this is starting to come. We have some massive sponsors as well that have been reaching out that want to sign a deal today. We have some conversations. So you're going to get all this. All of our people in the Mason Mob that are part of our program will also become sponsored by them as well. So whatever we get, you guys will get some awesome stuff sent to you. We got some Mason Mob shirts. And when we travel and take some trips, we're going to hit some of these cities as we grow and the show builds, and there's thousands of people in here, which there will be during the play-by-plays. We're going to travel a little bit, and we'll be taking some pictures with people out in different cities having fun, and we're going to try to go live in different locations with some of our stuff and some of our travel studio equipment. Will be freaking awesome. So again, I appreciate you guys. Throw the dice out there so I can mention you guys on the way out. Let's go. Keto, how are you feeling? Keto, how are you feeling right now? Tracy, Kenyatta, Brian, Brittany, you guys have been so awesome. Thank you, Jeff Lee. Everyone that's in here right now in the chat, drop the dice out there. We are getting ready, and tonight I will be sending you an email out for the live show tomorrow, but also for our live freaking first play-by-play of the season, night game. Annie, how are you feeling? We have the live shows coming up with the games. Preseason is about to be here. The NFL season is coming around the corner. There's going to be a lot of great opportunities. Everybody in here, obviously, making some money, having some fun, throwing the wheel out there, but even more importantly, hanging out and meeting all these new sports fans that are coming to our live stream. So everyone right now, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to throw the dice in the chat as we get ready to head out. The Mason Mob sign-out session. Remember this. Remember this. Remember this. You guys listening to this right now, you must do this. Yesterday, we almost had everybody. As soon as I sign off, every time we sign off, guys, we got about 15 seconds. You're going to see the logo sign off screen. As soon as it signs off, give it like 15, 20 seconds, let it load, and then refresh it. Give it a second. And it's going to upload to the actual YouTube. Comment on that video, not just right here on the side. It'll be on the video at the bottom. This shares out to everybody, and you will see as the season starts, everybody pouring into the morning show. You will see it's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, as soon as I sign off here, give it like 15 seconds. It'll die out, and then you will come back and leave a message. Leave your message, guys, on the video that uploads. I appreciate you guys. The best message will spin the wheel tomorrow morning. Listen, I'm signing off right now. I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys have been great. Hit that like button if you haven't done it, and get ready to leave a message to the video that uploads on the live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's hump day. We're going to be live, getting ready. We're getting closer to August, and we have our live play-by-plays coming up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.